Transport and manufacturing are often blamed for global warming with good reason, but agriculture is also one of the greatest contributors to the problem. Farming emits more greenhouse gases than trucks, trains, and airplanes combined. It's also a very thirsty business, using precious water supplies, and pollution from chemicals ends up contaminating many of our river systems. As we need to grow more and more food, the issue of the environmental problems that agriculture creates cannot be ignored. Much of the debate to date has been between two extreme sides: those who think that organic farming is the answer to the environmental problems, and those who believe that organic farming cannot survive in the fierce, competitive food markets we have these days and cannot meet the needs of a growing population. But many organic farmers have recognized that small farms are in fact more efficient and productive. They create higher yields or larger harvests per capita than mass farming. For that reason, it doesn't have to be a choice between one or the other. We can still feed the world's population using organic methods.
The confectionery industry has become a multi-million-dollar business. The earliest evidence of humans choosing sweet products for their diet can be found in the artwork on Stone Age cave walls. Early men used to raid beehives to collect honey and bring it back to the community. There is some evidence in Persia and India of people enjoying milk-based products sweetened with honey. Meanwhile, in Europe, where we are today, many of the earliest sweets were intended for medicinal purposes, and the recipes that we have found appeared in the notes of apothecaries, who were early versions of the modern-day chemist or pharmacist. The therapeutic value was added by introducing herbs and spices to the mixture. They were often found to relieve coughs and sore throats, much like a honey and lemon drink might these days. Many of the earliest sweets would be unpalatable to modern tastes, and it was only towards the 18th century that the medicine and confectionery trades separated into two distinct industries.
The link between the color of foods that we eat and their flavor is often a very logical one. Oranges are clearly orange, and we would expect any food that is made with an orange flavor to have a similar color. This expectation, which I wouldn't say is unreasonable, is not new. We expect chocolate flavored items to be brown or cherry flavors to be red, and traditionally, many foods have a specific color associated with them. Over the years, these colors could be made more vibrant by the addition of artificial colorings, but there were still a relatively small number of food items that contained these substitutes until about a generation or two ago. It's been estimated, though, that up to 70% of the food in the average American diet is now made up of processed foods. This is a huge increase from the past. Many of the ingredients will have gone through so many chemical treatments that the food is, by the end of the process, in fact, gray in color. Because so few people are prepared to eat gray food items, the use of colorings in the food chain has grown dramatically in recent years.
The term innovation is at risk of becoming a buzzword. Popular blogger James Harper has suggested that the word itself is problematic, as it is used to cover too many different aspects of a complex range of ideas. He has recommended breaking down the concept of innovation into types, not completely new or distinct types, but just subcategories of the idea of how to innovate. Chief among those is the association of innovation with process, strategy, and management technique. At the same time, though, the idea has also been strongly linked to the more abstract concept of creativity, a term that's just as hard to pin down. Experts generally concur that innovation done well leads to increased job opportunities, profit, and better standards of living, but it will be hard to develop strategies to encourage these things.
We use skeletal muscles to move. They're attached to our bones, and when they slide together, they pull our bones in different directions, which allows us to make all sorts of movements like walking, jumping, bending, smiling, and even blinking. If you don't use a group of muscles for a period of time, they can become weaker. So to avoid this, you should exercise regularly. By exercising at a level that you find difficult, you strengthen your muscles. When you work hard like this, muscles are slightly damaged, and then they repair and rebuild, becoming stronger.
Your tutor says you're rather quiet during tutorials.
Yes, I don't always feel confident about speaking in front of other students. I do all the reading for preparation, but there's a lot of it, and sometimes there are things I don't understand.
Well, part of the purpose of a tutorial is to clarify anything you didn't understand in the reading, so you shouldn't feel embarrassed about asking questions. And if the reading load seems quite heavy, you can always ask the tutor what the real priorities are.
We've conducted a number of brain imaging studies on patients suffering from chronic pain and found that we can predict with great efficacy who will respond to a placebo and who won't. It basically comes down to their respective brain anatomies and psychological characteristics. In subjects whose pain was alleviated by the placebo, the right side of the brain, responsible for emotions and reward, was larger. Also, based on survey results, these high responders exhibited higher levels of emotional awareness and greater pain tolerance. This is great for the patients, as by using inert drugs instead of active ones, you can avoid side effects like addiction and also effectively mitigate the expense involved.
It is not possible to study the development of American English without referring to Noah Webster, a highly respected scholar and textbook writer. His first dictionary of American English appeared in 1806, but this initial work was later expanded to become his most famous dictionary, published in 1828. It contained about 12,000 words which had not been featured in any dictionary before, including technical terms from the sciences. It was severely criticized at first because it was based on spoken rather than literary English, and because Webster promoted American spellings for many common English words.
Traffic congestion has had a particularly undesirable impact on the lives of many people around the planet. With more and more drivers stuck in traffic jams, they waste billions of gallons of fuel, adding to the problems we already have with climate change. We need to do something about this because congestion also has a very negative impact on the quality of life for many people. Being stuck in a jam is the least productive way to spend your working hours. With so much of the traffic on roads coming from delivery vehicles, It makes sense to turn attention to the potential of unmanned vehicles or drones to deliver routine products. The process of switching to unmanned air vehicles may go beyond simply taking drivers off the road and bring additional benefits. For example, if it becomes possible to deliver prescription medicines within a 20-minute time frame, there are additional benefits to using drones. Many people, such as the elderly or those who live in remote locations, may be able to get medical treatment that they can administer themselves directly, much faster than it is possible to get a human medical team to them. What is lacking at the moment is a thorough appraisal of the financial viability of using flying machines to transport goods, and we may need to incentivize companies to take the first steps.
Common literary techniques include metaphor, analogy, and repetition.
Many preconceptions about one recent ministerial appointment proved inaccurate.
It is essential to use protective equipment when handling chemicals.